An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. Change is the end result of all true learning. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare it for today. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. The more you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you will go. Develop a passion for learning. If you do, you will never cease to grow. Learning is like rowing upstream, not to advance, is to drop back. So, good evening, everyone. This is Shelly Best in front of you, an international speaker, international host, and an educator for 21 years in the teaching industry. Talk show host, CBSE Observer, core member of Result Committee, multi-awardee, mompreneur, social activist, writer, nation builder, change maker, assistant director, India GLT, deputy country director, India IIU, content head, Khwab Zindagi Ke, advisory head, Educos Unite of Scholars, and also associated with many educational institutions and NGOs. Welcome to Infinite Rec Global Power Talks, chaired by Dr. Ratish Gupta. REC is a versatile social media platform designed and developed under the aegis of Educos Unite of Scholars, backed by the global community of educators, mental health professionals, motivational leaders, and life skill trainers. Carrying a vision to connect the global education community for exchange of ideas, diversifying situational based learning, and having solution based learning is what we keep striving for. Our vision and mission is to serve the education of fraternity, ranging from scholars to students, with all possible solutions and opportunities to further enhance their skill sets. So, participants, educational leaders play a pivotal role in affecting the climate, attitude, and reputation of their schools. They are the cornerstone on which learning communities function and grow. With successful school leaderships, schools become effective incubators of learning, places where students are not only educated but challenged, nurtured, and encouraged. On the other hand, poor or absent school leadership can undermine the goals of an educational system. When schools lack a strong foundation and direction, learning is compromised and students suffer. Leadership is second only to classroom instruction as an influence on student learning. It is hard to think of an industry where constant learning is more applicable than education. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present before you a dynamic, decorated, and celebrated educational leader, Dr. Vagmita Thyati, who is the Vice Principal of Gargi Girls School, Meerut. She is an MEd, MA in English, and PhD in Education. I feel proud to tell that she is the resource person for CBSE, collaborated with VBM for Guinness Book of World Records for Sundial Kit activity. She is honored by Aesthetics International for excellence in education initiatives, and she is a judge for various competitions in Government Institute and Merit. Let me tell about her recognitions also. She is a Global Teacher Award by Alert Knowledge Services, and she is also awarded with Guru Shrestha Award by Mishika Foundation. She is awarded with Women Achievers Award by Times of India and also awarded by the Most Dynamic Educationist Award. Amazing profile which needs an applause and an appreciation. Now, before we actually meet the amazing personality, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share the glimpses of a successful journey with you guys through a video. So, all of you stay tuned to the video, and I must tell you that the video is so impressive. Fantastic. Wow, bravo. It was scintillating and eye catching. I would rather quote watching this video that leadership is not about a title or designation, it's all about the impact, influence, and inspiration as Dr. Vagmita Thyati has managed and will be influencing and inspiring all of us with her power dose of thought leadership. So, without any further ado, let's welcome our special guest, Dr. Vagmita Tyagi, to enlighten us with her nuggets of wisdom. Over to you, ma'am. Please welcome on the screen and welcome to REC Power Global Talk session. The stage is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Shelly, ma'am. It was indeed wonderful. It was emotional. It was heartwarming, and that AV, it was truly a memory down the lane kind of a thing. All the aspects that were incorporated when I started my career as a teacher. Yes, it was truly emotional. You very rightly said it is nothing about a position. This title being the vice principal, it does matter, but more than that, what matters is me being an educator. And yes, the photographs, as you saw, the most memorable ones are the ones in which there are students with me, so that was amazing.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Sherry ma'am. And I hope I'll be able to do justice to this wonderful platform. Thank you, Educators Unite. This REC platform given to me by Ratish sir. It's indeed a pleasure. But more than that, I think it is a responsibility, because what I'm going to be talking about today is something which I have experienced, which I have, the juice that I have picked up from my experiences. I have tried to interview them and, present on this platform, so that we do understand the aspect that goes beyond teaching. As an educator, yes, my journey started way back in 2006 when I just I completed my B.Ed and I took up teaching as a profession. But yes, I loved to teach children, and more than that, I wanted to connect with my students. So maybe that is the thing. Right from the word go, I had a wonderful connect with my students. That is where these beautiful aspects of children understanding a teacher and teacher understanding the child were born. And I'm happy that somewhere I have lived up to the expectations of my students. So today we'll be talking about a very important topic that every educator needs to look up to, and that is teacher pupil relationship. A very tender, a very soft relationship that needs a lot of love, care. You need to nurture them. It is not just coming off, taking up your lectures and moving out with a chalk and duster. It is far beyond the thing that we call reading between the lines. So I would just like to go ahead with a small presentation, and let's hope we will be able to read between the lines. Right. So, with your due permission, I shall be sharing the screen.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. We are looking forward for the beautiful presentation from you.
Right. So, this, as it goes, the teacher pupil relationship, something that we need to cherish. And before we exactly begin with the presentation, a very beautiful quote by the man who is an inspiration, who is a legend, who has inspired our lives like anything. In his words, teachers are the backbone of any country, the pillar upon which all aspirations are converted into realities. And where does these aspirations come from? These are the aspirations of the little tiny hands that you hold when they enter the school. Right from the kindergarten up to class 12, they are there with you, and as a teacher, you nurture them. Their aspirations, their dreams, their visions. It is the duty of the teacher who converts it into reality. So, a very beautiful quote by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And who is a learner or who is a student? So, a student is someone who has a quest for knowledge and is always seeking to learn from anything and anyone. Now, here comes the responsibility of the teacher to ignite this flame and let it keep burning till the child moves out. India, as we all know, the land of rishis and muni, the Guru Shishya tradition, lineage, or parampara denotes a succession of teachers and disciples in traditional Indian culture and religions such as Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism. It is a tradition of spiritual relationship and mentoring where teachings are transmitted from a guru, teacher, to a shishya or a disciple. So this is what wonderful aspect of Indian tradition system. It is not just the relationship of a teacher and a taught. It is more of absorbing the values with tradition. If a teacher has a good relationship with students, then students will more readily accept the rules and procedures and the disciplinary actions that follow their violation. It is a must noted thing in today's time where pandemic has hit us so hard, and education sector, as we all know, is no exception to it. So when we talk about education sector, when we talk about online education, this also plays a very, very important role. Now, we talk about the timeless elements of a strong student teacher relationship. To sum them up, I have written them and tried to summarize them into four major points. The first one being consistent communication. If you want a relationship wonderful and impeccable with your child or your student, it has to be a consistent communication. You cannot take things for granted. You cannot say, okay, I'll tell this later. No, neither on the part of the educator nor on the part of student. Because I know there are many of my students also who are out there listening to this YouTube live or Facebook live. So, students, it goes out for you also. Whatever you have in your heart, speak out to your teacher. Don't wait, because communication, in case if not taken up duly on time, leads to miscommunication, and that is not healthy. Here, I would just like to share an experience with all of you. I started with my online teaching last year for class 10, and the girl was really wonderful. And she said, "Ma'am, you're a wonderful teacher, but once when I was in class 8 and you were on round, you scolded me. I felt bad." And then I thought that from class 8 till class 10, 2 years, this little girl has kept this thing in her heart. And today she is leading it out. So, all my dear students, don't keep anything to you. Talk, discuss. Maybe the teacher did not meant what she spoke. Maybe there was a hidden line, hidden meaning. Come up, speak up to your teacher. They're out there to listen to you. So, this consistent communication is a major, major aspect of a strong teacher pupil relationship. Next, as you can see on the screen, is an emotionally safe learning space. Very important, specifically for kindergarten teachers, specifically for the students who seek new admission in any class. Whenever a child walks from the home and enters your school building, there's a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of, question marks that hover the little mind. He or she needs time to adjust, needs time to adapt. Acceptance is what the child looks forward to. And once when the child enters the school building and when he or she enters your classroom, it becomes your responsibility to provide that emotionally safe learning space to your child. That rods, that corporal punishment, that scaring is a long past story, my friends. We don't use all these things nowadays. We need to understand that the child sitting in front of you is a soul with mind, is a soul with heart, and it needs to be taken care in the same manner as you want yourself to be taken care for. Being a teacher does not give you the total autocracy to dictate a child. No, you're not there to dictate a child. You're there to help the child. That is why the teachers are not just teachers. You are mentor, you are friend, philosopher, and guide. And it can only happen when you are going to be providing your child, your student, with a safe learning space. Mutual respect, trust, and also a consistent feedback is something that is really required. It is not one way traffic, it is mutual. It is a give and take relationship. The more love, the more affection, the more respect you give to the child, you get with interest. The child will reciprocate to whatever you say. We have experimented this with the most rowdy students in the school. There are students, they listen to some teachers, they don't listen to some teachers. So it is because they feel accepted more by one teacher rather than the other. We are adults as teachers, we are mature, we have to take the lead to make the student understand what it really means to keep up a good, healthy relationship. So, this mutual respect, this trust, and the feedback is really, really required. Feedback in the sense that once you're out of the class, don't just leave the students on themselves. Next day, when you go back, try to talk about what happened in the previous class. Try to talk about what they would like to hear. What are their thoughts? How, as a teacher, you can take some important key points from them to improve your teaching. I do it, and I never feel ashamed to ask my students, see, I am teaching you this concept. In case if you have some better idea, I would like to hear from you. And trust me, they are your best critics. As a teacher, it doesn't mean that you have no scope to learn. No, you too are a learner, because learning is a lifelong process. And that is what I truly believe. And whatever I'm speaking right now, I truly follow it in all the aspects of my teaching. Talk to my students, asking them, see, this is the topic I have taught in this way. In case if you want me to take up in a different manner, or maybe the teacher who taught you last year, there are many wonderful, valuable points that children add on to your teaching, and you also evolve and grow. And the final point, which is a must for all to remember, true equity. There are teachers who have been told that, ma'am, you're biased. You like this child more than you like me. So, as a teacher, please check your behavior. Maybe your intentions are not like that. Maybe you don't want the child to understand. But, as they say, actions speak louder than words. Maybe somewhere down your line, your action gave that message to the child that no, maybe this child is getting better grades, better marks. So the teacher is liking this child more. Never ever, dear teachers, dear educators, give this impression to your child. True equity in true sense. Always discourage the child in case if the student comes and starts comparing you with some other teacher. Discourage that kind of a talk. There is supposed to be a total equity among the teacher as well as among the students. Now, once when you know what are the key points, right, of a good teacher and pupil relationship, and once when you have achieved that, there are n number of benefits. Once we have this cordial, beautiful, positive student teacher relationship. So, they are promote academic success with positive student teacher relationship. I must not mention, but we all have seen the movie Tare Zameen Par. This academic success of this child was a dream that was unattainable. And it is a real life situation. It does happen. There are students who lack this academic success, but student, then this beautiful teacher relationship will yield academic success. The child will excel in academics, and that stigma of getting bad marks will definitely move away. It is also going to avoid behavioral problems through healthy student teacher relationship, something that is a lot of, drawing a lot of concern for all educators globally. This problem is not only in India. You must have heard many teachers saying, oh, the child does not behave properly. What exactly is behavior? What exactly is behavior? It is the desired way you want the child to treat yourself. No, that is not behavior. It is actually you have to portray yourself. You have to be a role model to the child how to behave. And the children are very smart. They ape what you do. They mimic what you do. On Teachers' Day, it happens on Teachers' Day. The students, they put up this act, and they many a times come up with this. They are going to mimic a teacher, and they do it wonderfully well. Don't criticize them. Look for the hidden meaning. Look, understand, and absorb how, very, very cautiously and how concentrated manner the child is observing you, your actions, your behavior. So, the problem, it's easy to point out the child is not behaving properly. Look at the behavior the teachers are doing. So, with a beautiful, healthy teacher pupil relationship, this behavioral problem will slowly and gradually mellow down. The third point, as you can see, help develop self worth and improved student mental health. Mental health, something again we all need to talk about. Very many people are, they're scared to seek for help. They're scared to say, help me, I'm stuck. Help me, I'm in depression. There are people, there are students who require this kind of a help. So, when you are going to be having a beautiful relationship with your child, the child will not be scared. The child will be open to discussions, criticism, and suggestion. You are definitely going to have this wonderful mental health of your child, because a good mind will always yield positive thoughts. And positivity attracts positivity. So, more positive you are, more giving you are, the child is also going to become the same replica. The final part of a good, positive student teacher relationship is the positive student teacher relationships assist educators with professional growth. As I told you, don't think that you, as an educator, are helping the student. No, the student is also helping you. The student is also making you grow and evolve. You know, all the parents out there will definitely relate to what I'm saying. When a child is born, you are also born. You learn, you grow, and you regrow with your child. There are many things that your child teaches you. There are many things that your child makes you learn. So, this is what is going to happen if the student teacher relationship is going to be positive. Many children are out there who have wonderful ideas, innovative ideas, who have lot many things to share, to talk. And it is only going to be possible when you are going to allow the child to come up and speak to you. And it is also going to aid in your professional growth. This pandemic, this COVID, has created a revolutionary change in education. We are the teachers who belong to the age where we had chalk and duster and textbooks. And they all gradually got replaced by keyboard, mouse, monitor, laptops, e content. And I must admit, my students are far much digitally advanced as compared to me. And I am one lucky teacher who has grown, who has evolved with the help of my students, taking up online classes, making my students believe in themselves. And they then came up with such wonderful ideas of creating e portfolios, creating PPTs, creating e learning material. So, who actually grew? Not only my students, but I as an educator. And it was a wonderful learning moment and also an aid for my professional growth. A very beautiful quote, very close to my heart, and it says, "A good teacher is like a candle, it consumes itself to light the way of others." I remember this line being, said by again none other than by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He came to our school when I was a teacher in MPGS Shastri Nagar, Meerut. And he himself was an acclaimed teacher. His gestures, his humility, his humbleness, his subtleness, everything was awe inspiring, and it made us believe that yes, he is in true sense a good teacher, because it is not only what is he teaching, but is also reciprocating. And whatever knowledge you have, give it out, lend it to the students. Don't just keep it to yourself and finish it off. Before I wind up my today's presentation and begin with the question and answer round, a very beautiful poem dedicated to all the educators out there. A poem that my principal, Dr. Anupama Saxena, Principal Gargi Girls School Meerut, always talks about. A poem worth inspiring millions and billions of teachers out there. Listen to it, understand the extract, the nectar, the zest of this beautiful poem. Little eyes upon you. There are little eyes upon you, and they're watching night and day. There are little ears that quickly take in every word you say. There are little hands, all eager to do anything you do, and a little girl who's dreaming of the day she'll be able to teach you. Little eyes upon you, and their watching night and day. No suspicions ever rise. She believes in you devotedly, holds all that you say and do. She will say and do in your way when she grows up like you. Little lies upon you. So, dear educators, please take care of yourself. Please take care of your little ones and build up a strong, cordial, beautiful relationship with your students, because that is going to be the future of India. Thank you so much for being such patient listeners. Over to you, Shelly ma'am.
Fantabulous Dr. Tyagi. It doesn't need any words of appreciation, the presentation and the golden words spoken by you. It is in itself a huge round of applause and appreciation by everybody, not only the
Thank you.
participants, but I, being an educator, was in awe by looking at all the slides and by whatever you were telling, and especially the quote of APJ Abdul Kalam. And you ended your presentation with such a lovely poem, it was so inspiring and it really touched me. And you won't believe that the entire chat box is overwhelming, with so much of appreciation coming from all the participants. And we have huge questions for the participant. They are dying to get the answers. So let me just don't waste the time and quickly come to the question answer session, so that the participants and attendees get insights from you. So the
All
first
right.
question is, how does the teacher pupil relationship affect the mental health of the society as a whole?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
See, as I told you in the presentation itself, mental health is something that is being talked about now after World Health Organization coming up. Even my PhD, this is one of the variable I have taken up in my education thesis. So, mental health is something that is related to the mental well-being of the child. What is society? You, me, the little ones out there. So once when the little ones come to the school, once when they enter the boundary of the school, we need to open up to them. Once when this beautiful mental health relationship is built up by the teacher, The teacher will definitely make the child a strong headed person. And as you must have heard, the strong fountain head, these are certain quotes we use. So, as the water top flows from the top, the strong fountain head with positive ideas that would be bubbling would be passed on to the junior classes, to the coming generation. So all these would be taking up, and it is like, a chain reaction, one child to the other child, and then the whole society would be engrossing in this wonderful strong mental health. So it starts from the family as a basic unit, and then it propagates to the school as a secondary unit, and then definitely the mental health of the society would definitely be stronger enough as compared to the previous times.
Very well articulated, ma'am. In fact, you have done the justice to this question, and I believe audience might be very happy by listening to the answer. Now, let me come to the second question, which has been asked by one of the participants, and it is, how has digital intervention affected the teacher-pupil relationship?
Oh, yes. See, this is something we really need to address. Uh, Digitalization and specifically the COVID times because of the online teaching. Uh, we need to understand the difference between the online teaching and a regular classroom. Online teaching is a mode where, like, even when I was giving the presentation, this was very different in case if I would have given a presentation on stage with the audiences sitting in front of me. So as a teacher, when I'm teaching in the class, I can make out the child, as a teacher, ma'am, you are yourself very much experienced, having a huge experience of more than 20 years. As a teacher, it is very, very easy for us to make out within a quick fraction of seconds, this child is paying attention, this child is not paying attention. And we say you are physically present, but you are mentally, not present in the class. Somewhere down the line, we were handcuffed when we started with online classes, because with this mute mode, with this video put off mode, it became very difficult for the teachers to have this connect. But yes, we again came up with this wonderful idea, and rather than discussing the problem, I would like to talk about the solutions. uh, this quick idea of flipped classroom came into being. And when this flipped classroom came into being, the digital intervention, that monster of digital intervention, slowly we were able to curb it out. But yes, this has definitely created a slight demarcation between a teacher pupil relationship. But I think so, with the life skills incorporated learning, with value based learning, we'll definitely overcome this problem also.
Great, ma'am. Fantastic. Now I come to the third question, and it is such a difficult question because that situation is obvious for all of us, all educators worldwide. So I think this question will be very well connected. What is the reason for students misbehaving in online classes? Students dare not, you know, do all this in the offline classes, but now they have got an opportunity to do whatever they want to in the online classes. So if we all educators are having a tough time. So can you please throw some light on this beautiful question?
Yes, yes. We have actually taken this up in our school as in the form of functional research, right? Because this is a problem that is not happening with all the educators, ma'am. There are certain teachers who are being targeted, and I actually felt the dire need to study and research as to why is it happening. See, talk to any educator. It is definitely happening with the teachers who did not had a strong student pupil connection before online classes began. The teachers who were not able to connect with the students, the teachers who allowed themselves to be taken for granted, the teachers who became over friendly. It is good to be friendly with the students, but there is a line, there's a demarcation, there is a decorum the teachers need to follow. So all the teachers who never had that barrier, they were the teachers who were mostly targeted. But yes, there were senior teachers who beautifully conducted, who were not that tech savvy, but who beautifully carried that out. And they actually, had a wonderful command in online classes. The students dare not misbehaved in their class. They wonderfully went ahead. They wonderfully conducted the classes. So this is a learning lesson for us. This online classes actually gave a mirror that yes, teaching is beyond books. Teaching is beyond completing your syllabus and your curriculum. Grow up, widen your horizon, teachers. Connect with your students on emotional ground. And then you are going to see the difference. This problem will dwindle away. This will no longer be a problem in times to come.
Very correctly you said that it did not happen with 100% educators all around, but then it depends upon educator to educator that how to tackle the problem, how to
Yes.
deal with the children, and how intelligently, how well you are connected with the children. And then I believe, if there is a strong connection, as you said, teacher pupil connect, this problem can be rectified. But let me ask you one question which is very very close to this question only. We have seen a surge of absenteeism in the online classes, but I have seen one
Yes.
difference also. The day you have the pre-board examination, the day you have the half yearlies, terminal examinations, which is of 80 marks, 50 marks, or 40 marks, or even a UT of 30 marks, then that particular day you can have the full strength, the child who was never present ever in the online classes, but that particular day that child is present, and the class teacher or the subject teacher is so happy to find 100% attendance in the class. But where was that child when the online classes were there? Throughout the time, the child was absent. So I want you to kindly speak on this absenteeism problem also, which is faced during the online classes.
Yes. Uh, not boasting about what Gargi did. We never faced this problem. Why? See, there were children who were absent, but we just took it 1 week to understand the problem, and immediately from the next week, telephonic calls were made to each and every parent, understanding what is the issue. There were problems where the parents came up that gadget was the issue. We have three children, different class timings. We came up with a solution. Even the teachers started taking evening classes. When we had this offline class, we had the fixed time from 8 to 2, but with this online classes, there was no time limit. The teachers worked 24/7. Even there were teachers, like in my school also, one of my child, she got selected in NTSC examination. So the teacher, after taking the online classes, he created a separate group, NTSC group, and he made the students join free of cost. And we could see a large number of students, pouring onto this. It is important for you to find out the solutions, and that is why you are educators. There is nothing, no term as problem. There are solutions when we are educators. If a child is absent, make a call. You cannot make a call, you have to follow COVID protocols. You have the address of the child, visit. It is not that you are living over here and the child is living in some other city. No, we never let this happen. We made one to one connect with the students, and yes, the students had to submit an application to the teacher in case if they were not present. So we never let loose the leashes. We kept the leash in our hand. They were allowed to run, as a kite. You can allow it to fly. The sky is the limit. But yes, that thread should be in your hand. The absenteeism was controlled because of that manner. We had regular PTMs. Thus, when the child was not comfortable on Zoom classes, even WhatsApp video calls were taken up as a means of communication. So that is what I talked about. Don't let go of communication. It is not, we were never, dictating our terms that no, school is going to be on Microsoft Teams. So that is done. School is going to be on Zoom. No, we never did that. In case if there is a problem with Microsoft Teams, in case if there is a problem with Zoom, we gave them the third option. And to your surprise, I would like to tell you, the parents took the undertaking. They signed, and during COVID times also, we have nursery students who used to come to the school. Literally, children wearing mask and carrying the undertaking. The parents said we are going to be sending the child in case if it is not possible for the online class. So, as you know, it is the most beautiful part of being an educator. It is you have n number of solutions. So we never had a problem of children remaining absent. But yes, I would like to tell all the educators out there, don't give up. try to find out solutions, and every adverse thing is going to be having a perfect solution, and it is out there in your mind. And thank you for putting up that wonderful question, Shelly ma'am.
Wonderful and wonderfully answered. I appreciate your zeal, your hard work, and your sincerity that during these trying times of pandemic, when this problem it exists, but then how you overcome that problem with your strategy and proper planning and proper management. Wonderfully answered. I'm so happy with you.
Thank you.
Next question which I want to ask is, yesterday we had a PTM in the school, and one educator friend of mine, after the PTM, she conversed about one particular child who came to her. I'm talking about class 12th, you know.
Right, right.
Then she said that, ma'am, I want to talk to you separately. I want to discuss some problem with you. She said, okay, go ahead. And the problem was that why educators give more attention to a particular stream of students in the online classes. Only those students are promoted. Maybe I'm talking about the conversation, one to one conversation, interaction, whatever. you know but I feel that I am neglected, I am ignored, and the brighter ones, and they are often, the part and parcel of the class, and I don't feel like attending the class because I feel ignorant. But
Okay.
then the subject teacher also cross questioned that how many times did you take the initiative in the class. Maybe if a teacher is teaching, a teacher is asking some question, did you ever unmute yourself and said, I want to give the answer, I want to reach? She said no, because the teacher never called my name. So I
Right,
mean,
right, right.
that is one piece of small thing which I wanted to share with you. So can you give
Right.
me the insight for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, Shelly ma'am, absolutely a wonderful bang on with the question, and maybe I would definitely give you a solution for that. See, why I am able to give you the answers, because we are practically following that, and that's a universal problem. We too had this kind of an issue coming up. So what we did, we started with the peer learning process. We divided the class. We had this peer learners, the children who they were like the class of 40 students. The teacher bifurcated them into 10, and the children were asked to communicate. We call it stratified communication. I do understand it's very problematic for a teacher to, she might be taking the class on the mobile. Everybody might not be having laptops. So conducting a class on mobile for 40 children, it is very difficult for her to actually, slide and look where the child is. So it becomes difficult for her. So this stratified learning domain that we started, it actually helped us out to pick up the child who was actually, keeping mute or, hiding herself. And just like to share a small incident over here. It happened in my class also. This child, she was continuously on mute, and the video was off. I was not able to trace her out. So I asked, particularly one day, I said, please switch on your video, but I would like to see, unmute yourself. And afterwards I came to know that rather than her, one of the parents, who herself was an English teacher, she was attending her class on behalf and she was actually listening what I was teaching in the class online. So there are certain things that
Wonderful.
happen.
This is
So
great.
that was a learn. I said, where were you? And she came all rubbing her eyes, and ma'am, my mama was there. I said, because she herself was a teacher somewhere. So this stratified peer learning, the flipped classroom, the concept that I was talking about, we have to have more of this kind of a learning. So no child in the class would be left out. As a teacher, I understand the problem. As on the part of the child also, I feel, as I told you, it is very easy for us to pinpoint a child sitting in the class, but very difficult in this online mode. So this stratified flipped learning, this blended learning, this actually helps a lot in making the child come to the same platform as the brightest of the student.
Very nice, ma'am. Very nice. And I'm getting so encouraged and inspired by whatever answers you are giving. And let me ask the other question, which is also very close, because I am actually facing this, and listening to all the educator friends everywhere, that certainly the parents who are working, not from home, I'm not, because now some certain offices are on now. Now, suppose if both mom and dad, They are off to office maybe at say 8:30 or 9, because usually the timings are 9 to 2 for the online classes, and the child is all alone at home with good wi-fi connections and everything. The mother has given the breakfast to the child, and in front of them the child is attending 9 o'clock class, and both of them leave and they come back late in the evening. But as soon as the parents leave, the child is physically present in the class, the attendance is there, but the child comes back to PUBG, and the teacher keeps on shouting unmute or whatever, the child never does. And since the child is physically present, attendance is there, but homework is never submitted, video is never on, mic is not on, but those working parents, how will they monitor? Will they have that camera at home to find out that what the child is doing behind their
No,
back?
no, 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 Shelly ma'am. Absolutely, you don't need inspectors or jailers out there for these little ones. Your question that you spoke, it itself contains the answer. You said, ma'am, why PUBG? That is the answer, ma'am. Why PUBG? Why not online class? Because the graphics, the excitement, the interest, actually that is the distraction. So in my online classes, if I will have the excitement, if I will have the graphic representation, if I'll have videos, I'll have interactive assignments I'm going to give to the child, my child will never leave my class. That is the trust. See, um, this is again a normal experience that I had in one of the schools where I worked. They installed all wonderful CCTV cameras to keep a monitor check, because now CBSE says that you need to have CCTV cameras, but the maximum crime that are conducted in the washrooms where you cannot install the camera. So it is not camera installing, and you don't need a jailer out there, inspector with a danda, that no, I'm going to keep a check on you. Engross the child, open new horizons, make it so interactive that see some video is coming with the kindergarten students, even for the senior class students. You have such amazing videos out there, float them out, make your online class so interactive, so interesting. That is the answer, ma'am. Why PUBG? Why not my online class? Because it is boring, it is monotonous. If I'm speaking, who's going to listen? You are interacting with me, that is why you are liking it. In case if there's no interaction, you also would put your mic on mute and hide your window and might go and do your work in the kitchen. So it has to be interactive, it has. And then definitely this problem of child not physically, the child is going to be physically, mentally, emotionally and spiritually attentive in your class once when you have your sessions interactive. So do, we we shouldn't complain about PUBG, we should actually raise our standards above PUBG. I think so the problem would definitely find a solution.
Very nice, ma'am. Definitely, you have given the solution, because then again, it comes to the same fact that it depends on the teacher, that how
It
teacher
depends
is
on the teacher.
engaging her children, how interesting the lecture is, so that the child feels, let me not miss the class, let me be attentive, and let me see that what the teacher will be showing us today. So
Hmm.
definitely well answered, ma'am. And one more thing, during these trying times, as we have seen that everything is digitalized, what do you think will be the future of the education in next coming 5 years? Do you think there will be a certain change?
Pardon,
Where do
ma'am,
you see the education?
your voice got cracked. Can I get the question again?
Yeah, I'm telling that during these trying times when we all are dependent on technology, on this digital and online teaching, what do you
Hmm.
think the status of the education will be in another 5 to 10 years?
The education would be searching new horizons and would be climbing high with the wonderful new education policy that government of India has given to us. It is a beautiful wrap package, a gift that still needs to be unwrapped. Very recently, our Honorable Prime Minister, he has inaugurated. There are teams being formed by 2023. We are most probably hoping that the new education policy, the implementation would take place. Digitalization is here to stay, not in this form but in any other form. But yes, education will definitely reach new heights. The standard of education would be increasing because we are from STEM, we are going to STEM. It is more of an engineering, more of an art incorporated learning. So once when you have this art integrated learning, which includes your music, your performing arts, and it is going to be, as I told you, finding new dimensions for itself, with digitalization being into being, like, I would just like to quote over here, as per the new education policy, they are going to make artificial intelligence compulsory from class 6 onwards. They're going to make the skill subjects, the vocational subjects. So in coming 5 years, I am seeing a total transformation in education once, when like, in case if this education policy gets implemented in the best of its form, definitely the education sector is going to gain a lot of benefit. The dignity of labor that we talk about right now, the children feel, oh, he's a carpenter, oh my goodness, a cobbler, they look down. But the jobs like army, you are glorified like anything. But what this new education policy, when pottery, when handicrafts will be taught in the school, that dignity of labor will be maintained. With digitalization, the child would already, the children know the gadgets and everything. So once they're going to become handy to it, I feel the education sector is going to be reaching its pinnacle. And जैसे कि हम बोलते हैं विश्व गुरु, India is surely going to attain that position of Vishwa Guru once again.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful words. My last question to you is, what are your comments for the class 12th result which was being declared on 30th July?
Ah, that's a, that's a controversial question, ma'am.
Yeah,
But
I know.
I would try to be diplomatically very correct. See, nothing could work out. These are the times that were never there, and I hope these are the times that would never come in future, where the children had really suffered a lot. The mental trauma, the mental stress the children had gone through, and I must salute Central Board of Secondary Education, because we too tried to have a lot of conversation with the Honorable Sam Bhardwaj sir when he took the webinars, when he, explained. Yes, at a point of time, there were certain points in on which the educators, on which the children did not agree. But trust me, in such a crucial time, in such a difficult time, this was the best formula that CBSE could have adopted. I think so. That was the best. Yes, though we say marks never play an important role in child's life, but when the result is announced, the whole newspaper, as you can see, is flooded with 499 out of 500, district topper, national topper. The CBSE never talks about that. And I see my students out there, seeing me live over here. Again, I would like to tell you, children, this is just for the time, as the waves come and go. This result is a wave in your life. It has come and it will go, but the ocean will remain. Search the pearls in the deep fathoms of ocean and try to find the true meaning of life. These are just marks. Once you get into the professional life, when I am right now here, you, in case if you have been connected with me since 0.001 second when Sherry ma'am started, she never asked me, ma'am, बताइए, what were your percentage in class 12? कितने marks 10th में मिले? Then I will continue with the interview. She never questioned that. That is where your skills play a role. That is where your values play a role. That is where your mentorship plays a role. Grow up, evolve, go beyond marks, because that is what is most important.
Fantastic, ma'am. I am actually impressed by you, and I think I must thank Dr. Ratish Gupta in giving us such a good facilitator, ma'am. Not only as a vice principal, but yes, I would sure. I personally am talking about myself. I will sure take your number from Dr. Ratish Gupta, and in case if I face any problem in the future, I will be connecting you because
Thank you
you
so
are
much.
giving
It's an
such
honor.
brilliant solutions for the problems which actually exist. And in all the answers whatever I am hearing from you, it's only optimism I can feel. It's only positivity, and it's only the will which should come from you, the hard work, the sincerity, the dedication which should come out from a teacher, from an educator. So hats off to you. That is the reason why I believe you are so successful in your life and that is
Thank you so much,
why
ma'am.
you are here. So thank you so
Thank you.
much
Thank
for
you.
coming here. And it was such a treat, talking with you. And especially this question answer round was the icing on the cake after your presentation. And I believe, all the attendees and all the participants must be overjoyed by the answers given by you, because that is what I'm seeing in the chat box, the appreciation which you are getting by all questions which they asked and by all the answers which you have given. So, ma'am, thank you so much. And now it's the time for the felicitation. And I would like to felicitate you with a beautiful certificate given by Dr. Ratish Gupta.
Oh,
And thank
that's
you so much.
wonderful.
This is an acknowledgement. This is such a sweet and short, small gesture from Dr. Ratish Gupta. And this is for your time, which you have taken out from your busy schedule. And you have spared that valuable time and given such beautiful insights to us and have enlightened everybody over here. So we were so lucky to have you over here. So at the end, I would only like to just summarize with a small thing which I grasped from you, and that is that the relationship a student has with their teacher plays a significant part in the child's success. Teaching doesn't have to be synonymous with stress, burnout, and overwhelm. You can be a healthy, happy teacher who brings her best self to her work and her life. A teacher we respected and enjoyed could influence our feelings towards the subject. And yes, I would like to end this with one thing which I want to tell to everybody, that my teacher gave me the best gift of all, and that is believing in me. That is the reason why still I believed in myself. And that is
Yes,
what I feel
absolutely.
that Dr. Vagmita Tyagi must be having the same feeling and expression.
Yes. Yes, yes. We all owe it to our teachers, definitely. Nothing beyond that. What we are is just because of the belief the teachers had in us. Definitely. I true. And that is what motivated me to become a teacher. You know, what you take from the society, give it back. That is what is the best service to the humanity and society.
And yes, definitely. Suppose even if you are able to put a smile on somebody's face, if you're able to inspire anyone, if you're able to influence anyone, if you're able to impact anybody's life. Because what I feel as an educator, your children's success is your success. Because
Yes.
normally, if it is asked to the teacher how successful you are, but
Hmm.
awards doesn't mean anything, recognition doesn't mean anything, but yes, when your children are well placed globally in all spheres of life, you should feel proud about yourselves. So, ma'am, thank you so much. It was an overwhelming session for me. And yes,
Oh,
I was not speaking this for the saying sake. I will definitely be taking your number from Dr. Ratish Gupta.
sure.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us, for making this session a super duper hit. I owe this to you. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am,
so
once
much,
again
ma'am.
for your time.
You're welcome, ma'am. And thank you to all the audience out there who were so patiently listening. God bless everyone. Thank you, Ratish sir. Thank you, Editors Unite. Thank you, Rex. A wonderful platform. God bless.